Not every legendary journey begins with a standing ovation. Some are born in silence, misunderstood, dismissed, and buried beneath the weight of low expectations. But what if slipping isn't failing? What if it's simply the first step of a different kind of ascent? One with its own spotlight, its own proving ground, and a destiny all its own. When the Cleveland Browns selected Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, the NFL world collectively blinked. Not because they hadn't heard the name. Everyone recognizes the Sanders legacy, but because few expected his draft stock to plummet that far. Just months prior, he was a Heisman caliber headline. And now, drafted with doubt tagging along like baggage. For a player once flashing million-dollar timepieces to taunting fans, the message on draft night wasn't glitz, it was uncertainty. But here's where the narrative takes a sharp, unexpected pivot. While most rookie quarterbacks are consumed with clawing their way up the NFL depth chart, Shedeur Sanders might have another path quietly unfolding up north. The Toronto Argonauts have just added him to their CFL negotiation list, a subtle but seismic move that ignited Canadian sports media like a match to dry timber. Imagine it. Deion Sanders' son, under the lights, in Toronto, rewriting the script on his own terms. It's not as far-fetched as it may seem. The CFL thrives on dual-threat quarterbacks with charisma, and Shedeur's confidence in cannon arm might be the jolt the league's been waiting for. And don't forget, this wouldn't be the first time a Browns quarterback tested the waters in Canada. Johnny Manziel still echoes in the annals of Browns lore, for better or worse. After his NFL chapter faded, he looked to the CFL for redemption. Sound familiar? Maybe. But there's one glaring difference. Shedeur Sanders isn't a flameout. He's 23 years old. Unproven? Sure, but untapped. The ink on his NFL story hasn't even dried. So now the spotlight shifts to you. Should Shedeur remain patient in Cleveland, biding his time behind the scenes, or should he blaze a bold, new trail in the CFL, where the lights are bright and the expectations are different? Drop your take in the comments and let's get this conversation rolling. And before you go, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. This saga is just beginning, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Faith wasn't just fading, it was extinguished. But something shifted this offseason. No flashy free agent signings, no headline-chasing trades. Instead, the Browns recalibrated their approach intentionally and intelligently. And that pivot began with Judkins. Riesland didn't sugarcoat it. "I think it's Judkins," he declared when asked which rookie would move the needle the most. And the reasoning is clear. Judkins isn't some volatile boom-or-bust wild card. He's the embodiment of dependability. Across 3 seasons spanning the brutal SEC and Big Ten, he consistently posted 1,000-plus yards and 14-plus touchdowns every single year. No off years, no drop-off, just relentless production. But this isn't just about stat padding. Riesland keyed in on something subtle yet vital, dominating first down. It may not be a highlight reel moment, but gaining 4-6 yards on first down transforms everything. It unlocks the playbook, it puts defenses on their heels, and Judkins is built for that trench warfare. Even before fully digesting the Browns' playbook, this 21-year-old is going to be manufacturing second and manageable scenarios, the lifeblood of sustained drives. And here's the kicker. Judkins might just be the heir apparent to Nick Chubb. Now hold on, that's not a statement made lightly. Chubb isn't merely a beloved player. He's the soul of Cleveland's offense, the physical manifestation of Brown's grit. But with injury clouds looming, the need for a reliable successor is urgent. Judkins isn't Chubb yet, but he's explosive, resilient, and hungry to prove he belongs. And he's not entering the backfield alone. Let's not overlook the Browns' 4th-round steal, Deion Sanders. The Tennessee product logged a jaw-dropping 1,491 yards and 22 touchdowns last season. If deployed strategically, Stefanski could unleash a dynamic 2-headed rushing attack. Judkins as the tone setter, Sampson as the space exploiter. Now picture this, a wide zone scheme finally running as it was intended. Judkins pounding defenses into submission. Sampson slicing through open lanes. Mismatches everywhere. Flexibility the Browns haven't had in years. This isn't just a rebuild, this is a reimagining. But here's where things get truly compelling. Because all that offensive firepower could amount to absolutely nothing if the offensive line can't hold its ground. That's the unspoken crisis, the elephant in the locker room. And analyst Trevor Sikkema isn't mincing words. Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, both on the wrong side of 30 and both showing clear regression in their PFF grades. Ethan Posick, the man in the middle, surrendered more pressures than he has in any season since his rookie year. Jack Conklin is playing for a new contract. And DeJuan Jones, the one they're hinging their right tackle hopes on, posted a sub-50 PFF grade last season. Let that sink in. This revamped offense, loaded with fresh weapons and theoretical upgrades, is still being shielded by a front five that gave up 66 sacks last year. That's not just a warning sign. That's a screaming alarm. If this line disintegrates, everything collapses. The excitement around Judkins, Fannin, or the rookie quarterbacks? Irrelevant. The offensive line will be either the launch pad for a new Browns era or the anchor that pulls it all back into darkness. And that takes us to the architect behind it all, General Manager Andrew Berry. This isn't hyperbole. His future in Cleveland rides on this draft class. The 2025 NFL Draft wasn't just another opportunity, it was a crucial career-defining moment. And Berry, his resume is checkered. While Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was his crown jewel, he's now out for the 2025 season with a significant neck injury. That puts the spotlight firmly on a new set of names, Quinshon Judkins, Mason Graham, and one of the rookie quarterbacks they must hit. Berry passed on generational talent Travis Hunter at no. 2, instead gambling on Graham at no. 5, bold? Yes. Risky? Without question. But it underscores how desperately Berry is hunting for cornerstone players. Mason Graham has to dominate in the trenches. Judkins must energize the offense. And one of those quarterbacks, he needs to emerge as the guy. Let's not forget Harold Fannin Jr., a record-setting tight end who must now evolve into a consistent, explosive presence in a receiving core that's thin on experience and short on spark. So here we are, perched on the edge of what could be a franchise-defining season for the Cleveland Browns. A roster reinfused with youth, a fan base fueled by hope, a front office on the clock. This is no longer about raw talent, it's about execution, durability, leadership, and grit. And somehow, it might all hinge on the hunger and heart of a 21-year-old running back, Quinshon Judkins, the unlikeliest hero Cleveland never knew it needed. So what say you, Browns Nation? Is Judkins the future of this offense? Do you believe in Andrew Berry's vision, or are we staring down the barrel of yet another rebuild in disguise? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you believe this team is building something real, and don't forget to subscribe for all the twists, turns, and touchdowns of this unfolding Browns saga, because here's the truth. 2025 isn't just another season. It's the climax of a storyline that's been building for years. Every draft pick, every trade, every quarterback shuffle, it all comes to a head now. And no one feels that pressure more than Andrew Berry. After the Deshaun Watson blockbuster, a deal that some insiders are already whispering could go down as one of the worst trades in league history, Berry is on the brink. This isn't about building a better team anymore. It's about saving his job, about salvaging the future. Let's talk quarterbacks. Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, 2 high-profile rookies with polar opposite styles, both carrying immense potential, but also immense risk. Let's be honest. Rookie QBs rarely thrive behind shaky protection and identity crises. If either one flashes even a hint of long-term promise this season, that's a massive win. But if they both struggle, that 2 overall pick in 2026 may be the final lifeline Berry has to get the quarterback situation right. And don't think ownership isn't watching. Jimmy Haslam made it clear at the league meetings back in March, this isn't about improvement. It's about results. It's about survival. The perception around Andrew Berry has evolved from young visionary to a general manager walking a tightrope with the abyss below. With 7 selections in this year's draft, he needs 3, minimum, to become foundational players. So zoom in, focus. Quinshon Judkins, Mason Graham, Dillon Gabriel, Harold Fannin Jr., Carson Schwessinger, Dylan Sampson, Shedeur Sanders. These aren't just names. They're either the bricks of a new dynasty or the final remnants of another shattered plan. Maybe that's why this offseason feels different. Not noisy, not flashy, but quiet, determined, like a franchise that understands the stakes and is preparing not with noise, but with intent. So Browns fans, it's your turn. Do you trust this rookie class? and Judkins rise? Can Barry redeem himself and finally chart a new course for Cleveland? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button if you feel this team has something real brewing. And subscribe, because this isn't just a rebuild. This might be the reckoning. Go Browns. But what if I told you that deep inside Berea, behind the media smiles, the polished pressers, and the preseason optimism, the fate of the Cleveland Browns isn't being determined by touchdowns or training camp performance, but by egos, underlying tensions, and franchise-altering decisions that could fracture the locker room before a single down is played? What if the face of the franchise has quietly disappeared, the team's biggest star is hanging by a thread, and the most polarizing quarterback on the roster is the one fans are begging to never take the field? This isn't your typical off-season. This is a storm. Silent, brewing, ready to erupt, and at the center of it all, a rookie feeling the weight of the world. A veteran being ignored, and a front office orchestrating moves that could shape the next decade of Browns football, for better or worse. You're not going to believe how deep this story goes. But before we go any further, smash that like button, but only if you've been repping brown and orange for 17 plus years. It means everything to see generations of loyal fans ride this roller coaster together. If you're one of them, drop this in the comments. Go Browns, my heart bleeds brown and orange. All right, buckle up. As we barrel into the 2025 season, the Cleveland Browns are facing a quarterback conundrum that's not just splitting the locker room, it's splitting the fan base and the analysts too. Kenny Pickett, the understated, system-friendly signal caller, is emerging as the coaching staff's hand-picked choice, but fans and even some respected veterans are looking elsewhere. There's Joe Flacco, the seasoned warrior who reignited the team last year and remains the sentimental favorite. Then there's Shedeur Sanders, the rookie sensation whose name alone creates more media frenzy than his stat sheet. For now, speaking of headlines, remember Colin Cowherd, the same national voice who initially called Sanders a future franchise quarterback after Cleveland scooped him at pick 144? That hype didn't last long. After reports emerged of Sanders allegedly flying over 100 mph in a 55 zone, Cowherd torched him on air. Not ready, immature, poor judgment. The takedown was swift, brutal, and public. But the real story, how fast he abandoned ship. Sanders is 23 years old. And whether you love him or hate him, let's be honest, Cleveland has tolerated far worse from quarterbacks over the last 20 years. Fans weren't silent either. He's 23. People make mistakes. You think we care about a speeding ticket? After what we've endured for 2 decades, that's the vibe right now in Cleveland. Burned, but not broken. Thank you guys. See you next video.